Right guys, today I want to change the way you look at the guitar. We're gonna talk about the real difficulties, one of the real difficulties of playing guitar, the notes on the neck. So we've got to learn the fretboard, but the guitar has some issues that only apply to the guitar. So if we take the middle C, on the piano there is only one key that belongs to the middle C. Now that same note on the guitar can be played in 5 different ways. It can be played here, 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 and it can also be played here. Obviously not the most comfortable. Now when I mention the middle C, and when I show you 5 ways on the guitar to play the middle C, I'm referring to the same note. I'm not just saying 5 different Cs, right? Like if I say this, and then this, and this, they're all Cs, but they are 3 different Cs because they are 3 different heights. So 3 different pitches, 3 different octaves. These are all the same C instead, meaning you write it on the music staff in the same place, because that's the same height, the same frequency, the same octave. Now this doesn't happen on other instruments. On the piano, like we said, there is only one key that belongs to the middle C, and the same is for any other note. While on the guitar, any note can be played in 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 places sometimes. Now if you add to this that when we read the middle C on guitar, the guitar, instead of playing it here, on this octave, at this height, actually plays it here, things become even more complicated. Yes, because the guitar is also a transposing instrument. So anything you read in concert pitch, like the piano would read it, we actually played 1 octave lower. And once you play in orchestras or other ensembles where you need to read a lot of music, you need to be ready to play as concert pitch, like a piano would do. In other words, moving everything 1 octave higher than a guitarist would do, or as a guitarist, possibly as a classical guitarist, for example, so reading for guitar, moving everything 1 octave lower because we transpose the notes 1 octave lower. But if we stay on this difference about the octaves, if we play this C or this, we already said that's the same height, the same frequency, the same octave, you write it in the same spot on the music stuff. But obviously you know that you can go higher and get another C here, possibly another C here, particularly on the electric guitar, that's going to be more accessible on the neck. But the thing is, the guitar can cover more than 1 octave, obviously. But how many exactly? In other words, what's the range of the guitar? Well, in order to understand this, we really need to go from the lowest sound of the guitar, which in standard tuning is the low E string, like this, to the highest note of the guitar, which on an acoustic guitar, traditional fretboard, 20 frets, it's going to be this C here, which is 1 octave higher than this C that you may play more often. Now that means that the range of the guitar is a little bit less than 4 full octaves. Now it would be 4 octaves if we would find another E at the end on the 24th fret. And if you guys own a guitar with 24 frets, congratulations, your range is 4 full octaves. But if you own a Stratocaster 21 or 22 frets, or if you are playing an acoustic guitar of 19 or 20 frets, your full range is not really 4 octaves, but it is a few semitones, a few half steps less than 4 octaves. For example, if I can play until fret 20 instead of 24, I'm missing out 4 frets, 4 semitones, so it's 2 whole steps less than 4 octaves. But why do I say 4, or in general 3.5, almost 4 octaves of range? Well, because starting from the low E, which is the lowest sound on the guitar, you can move 1 octave higher and get this, which obviously you can play in different positions, as we know. 1 more octave higher, this one, which again can be played in several positions. This E here, which means that's the 3rd octave that we cover, and from here I can walk through the E string from the 12th fret onwards, up until, again, fret 24 if you have it, or fret 20, like in my case, and you will find that the 4th octave is not complete. You will possibly find, for example, 8 frets instead of 12, so 4 whole steps instead of 6 whole steps that you find in an octave. Now, all this to explain, the notes can be played in more than one place. The guitar range is 3.5, almost 4 octaves. If you compare it to a piano, that's significantly less. Obviously, if you compare it to other instruments, that's more. But the fact that you can play the same note in several positions on the neck makes it really hard to understand when you play a scale, when you noodle around, when you play a chord, you know, what's the name of the single notes that I play within a chord, a scale, a lick, a song that I'm playing. I've seen so many people playing guitar for 30 years, and then when you ask them, what's the name of this note, they don't realize that's a G sharp. Or if they do, they take a long time before they can tell you that's a G sharp or a flat. Now, we need to find references on the neck that really help us identifying those notes quicker. There are several methods. I will just mention a few references that you guys should know, starting from the names of the open strings. That's the easiest thing possible. E, A, D, G, B, E. That means you can count every semitone of the chromatic scale starting from any string. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, and so on and so forth. It is a good method. It's a bit long, so you may get other references. For example, fret 5 of any string, same note as the open string below, with the exception of the G and B strings. You can find the same reference on fret 4. That means you can also find a ratio between any note and the same note one string below. So fret 6 will be the same as fret 1, fret 7 same as fret 2, and so on. So -5 going down, +5 going up, and again between G and B, -4, +4. You may learn where the octaves are. For example, and so on. You can continue, you can find like shapes of the octaves or other intervals that you want to target. You may already know that the 12th fret is the same as the open strings, because after 12 frets, after 12 semitones, you're back to the same note as the open string. But these are broad references. I want to give you today 2 exercises, nice and simple, that no matter your level, no matter if you've been playing guitar for a month, 6 months, 6 years, you're going to improve on the way you target and name the notes that you play much quicker. So how can we do this? My advice is pick a note, a different note every day. This exercise lasts a couple of minutes, guys, so it doesn't take you too long to be included in your practice routine. But it could be a good goal. Improve this in 2023 on guitar. So it works this way. You pick a different note every day and you search all the places on the fretboard where you can find that note. Now let's say that we are searching for Fs. Okay, there's an F here, but I don't want to see you moving to this F next, just because you know that after this one, it comes this. Maybe because you know that given a note, you can go 2 strings down, 2 frets across, and you find the same note. No, because that's fret 1, that's fret 3, but we are missing another F on fret 1. So my advice is search all of the Fs, but play them and possibly sing them or hum them in a way that you move to the next F only when you're done with the same fret. So after this, there's this, and then there is this. Then the next F is gonna be here, the next F is gonna be here, the next F is gonna be here, then one here, but also one here, so don't move before you do this. Then they start again. And these are all of the Fs that I can play on my acoustic guitar. Now you've done F, you can do that with the Cs, the Gs, the E flats, and so on and so forth, 1 per day, and you repeat them. So this way, in 12 days, you've covered all notes on guitar, and by doing it over and over, you learn more references on the fretboard, which doesn't mean you have to necessarily learn them by heart. You're just becoming quicker at seeing things on the fretboard. But let's assume that this is too hard for you, because you don't have a big deal of experience with certain areas of the neck. Well, then you're gonna have to limit yourself. Which way? First, limit yourself to the first 5 frets. So for example, if I say I want to see all of the A's within the first 5 frets, I'm gonna find an open string, a 2nd fret here, then 5th, 5th. That's it. You can't play this because that's on the 7th fret. So you've got to limit yourself to the first 5 frets first, move it around a circle with different notes, and then you can move to the next step. Now, obviously, I'm showing you these notes quite quickly because otherwise this video would be too long if I have to explain why there's an A here, and so on and so forth. But you take your time, and by limiting yourself to 5 frets, don't worry about how slow or how fast you are. you will improve in terms of how quick you will find these notes over time by doing this exercise. Now, second step is going to be do the same thing, but limiting yourself to 12 frets. As we said, after the 12th fret, you're just gonna find the same notes, one octave higher that you've played, like if the guitar starts again from fret 12 onwards, okay? So if we now want to find all of the B flats, we'll find one B flat here, one here, one here, 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 stop. So you can't include this one because this is on fret 13, you will stop on the 11th. And that means that you've limited yourself to the 12th fret. You can do other notes now with the same limit. When you feel like you're quick enough to find them all until fret 12, you then do the whole fretboard, particularly if you want to do it on the electric guitar. And when you reach a level where you're like, I'm really good now, I'm quick enough, I can find any note, I will challenge you to do the exact same exercise, but this time, you don't start from the beginning of the neck, you start from the last fret of the neck, going only backwards. So that means if you are searching for those Cs, you will start from fret 20, quite uncomfortable to play, to be honest, and you'll keep going backwards this way, okay? This is a much harder exercise because we usually think in this direction. So think in the opposite direction, it's quite tricky. Now, why do we do all this? Well, because without all this, guys, you can't really apply your music theory knowledge. You can't target intervals. You can't target and see degrees. Now, guys, that means if we are playing a triad and we want to say, oh, you know what? This is a second inversion of a B flat triad, and I want to name the notes F, B flat, D, in the order I find them. Okay, you can do that only if you see the names of these notes, if you have enough references, if you've practiced this on the fretboard. But this is incredibly helpful when you play different voicings, new chord positions, when you learn new licks and you want to analyze what your favorite guitarist is playing in their solo. Now, if you guys want to improve on guitar this year and you are interested in getting better on acoustic guitar, check out my R&B and Neo Soul course, which is available on Skillshare and it's also available on Udemy. So you'll find links to both in the description below. On Skillshare, you can get 1 month of free trial of the entire platform, or on Udemy, you can buy my course at the best price available.